the more we get connected, the better we are going to be able to serve our region. And I'm going to say region and not just Grand Traverse area, because the Wellness Center will be, for now, a regional facility until other parts of northern Michigan are able to do similar centers or smaller centers. So just to give you a little history, we had third level crisis center, oh golly, back in 2018 and years before that. And that was serving people to the extent that it could, with the limited funding that it had, people in crisis, and doing assessments and trying to, get people situated in the most appropriate place possible, which are very limited, as you all know. And so that was then outsourced to Protocol. And we just, through NAMI, myself as a parent advocate, saw that we needed better crisis services. And that's, the funding is here now. And the state, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, has recognized that. And they have adopted, and they're still also working on fine-tuning certification of a CSU, that's Crisis Stabilization Unit, and Crisis Residential Unit. Those operate under some of the adult foster care rules, and for children, there's separate rules for them. So what we recognize that there was this huge need, and many of us, because of our own family experiences, and we started working with Northern Lakes Community Mental Health and pushing as much as we could to get something done. And so they did in 2021, applied for almost $5 million SAMHSA grant to do a crisis stabilization unit, which would have mainly served adults. There was very, very limited service for children. It would basically be pretty much what children get at the emergency department. And I'm not sure how much you work, you have children, you probably, with SUD experiences, do you work much, do you have many of those situations with children that need placement and are in crisis? Anyone here? Not so much. It's mainly adults. Well, anyway, there's a lot of kids that are going to the emergency department. Record Eagle's been covering this issue quite well. Some of these kids are staying for a week or more. I think there was, in the northeastern part of the state, a young man under 18 who stayed for almost a month in the emergency department because there was no place to put him to help him. So we were we didn't really wanted kids included, but they weren't going to be. But anyway, we just said, okay, we'll take what we can get. The SAMHSA grant didn't go through. It was not awarded to Northern Lakes Community Mental Health. That happened approximately August or September. But about the same time, the Northern Michigan Shire is CHIR, which stands for Community Health Innovation Region. They've been around, and maybe, let's see, Megan, you may be aware of them because they kind of cover the Northern Michigan County Health Departments. It's kind of an interesting entity, the way it operates. But in any case, they did a behavioral health action summit November 4th. I don't know, is anyone here at that? Because there were 150 participants throughout mainly Northwest Michigan. And out of that arose 12 teams to focus on different needs for Northwest, especially Michigan. And ours was the crisis center, because the community mental health had just failed at getting this big grant. So that was kind of appeared to be dead in the water. And so there were a number of us that were interested in working at it on this from that under the umbrella, of the Shire. So anyway, we, the group that came together, we have co-leaders, and Nancy's one of the co-leaders. Excuse me, Sarah Hubble from Leelanau County, Terry LaCroix Kelty, who's the director of behavioral health at Munson here in Traverse City, and myself. And then we have about 13 different group members representing BDAI, Ryan Hannon, Goodwill Inn, Stacy Kaminsky from Community Mental Health. We have Child and Family Services represented, Pine Rest, ATS with Chris Heimbaugh, and some others from Munson and CMH. So we are actually having a meeting this Thursday. We meet monthly, but we do most of the work in between the meetings. And at this point, it's been mainly the leaders. Hey, there's Nancy. Hello. That have been involved. So what we have right now is a building that we are having the lawyers look at to see if it will comply with the zoning. And it's part of a condominium complex in Traverse City. So they have to see if that's, if we can use that building. And we also have, and I've given that abstract to Susanna. Maybe she could forward it to the rest of you if you're interested. Some guidelines. We're working on a business plan, business kind of operations plan for the center, so we can take it to the county commissioners, Grand Traverse County in particular, to ask for SAMHSA money, or excuse me, ARPA money for the center. Grand Traverse County has 18.2 million in ARPA funds to use. So we're going to probably ask for 2 or 3 million for the center. So we have that in the works. And so how it will operate is it would probably be the hub for mobile crisis services. And it will have this crisis stabilization unit, which will, folks can walk in. So it would have separate sides for youth and adults. People can walk in, the police can bring someone in. The EMS could bring someone in as long as it wasn't a true emergency. And then their assessment would occur, and the stabilization or de-escalation would start immediately. And the crisis stabilization units, as they're designed in Michigan, are for up to a 3-day stay. Mm-hmm. And during that time, a safety plan will be put in place. NAMI, we hope NAMI, we know NAMI would be there to immediately embrace the families and natural supports, because that's also a big gap, right? We don't see families and natural supports being part of the recovery plan nearly as much as they should be. So, we'd like to work on that from the get-go. And if someone is not stabilized or de-escalated within the 3 days, then we have the crisis residential unit, the CRU, would tentatively be in the back of the building, children and adults separated by concrete walls, or not concrete, but walls according to what the state's going to require. And those stays are up to 14 days with possible renewal for another 14 days. So that in part of that would be, we've got a number of people that are very interested in doing things like, different types of holistic therapy, art therapy, dance, music, animal, nature, all kinds of things that need to be more fully utilized in someone's recovery path.